supposed to play Angie first.
Two other people had turned it down. So had a couple of other people at that point, including some of the male characters. And it was left at that. At the end of Cocktail, it's a story that stayed with me. And I went to Omi and I said, Omi, I think we should do this way. He didn't believe me at first. He thought like, commercially she's not going to do it.
You can use it so.
For a second, like for a split second, he was like, no, really? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious. And then he was like, great, let's do this. And
I met Deepika.
On record, Finding Fanny happened because of Deepika Padukone.
No, but I do remember I met Deepika after Cocktail had released.
You forgotten or what?
No, but she's right, because I met her after Cocktail had released.
You would never make
She was shooting a race.
No, we have to
She was shooting
clarify.
a race. She was shooting a race at Diana when I bumped into her and she was saying, I'm very keen to do this film that okay, we are trying to make it happen and we want to fit it in before I go on to do some film shows. So that she said, I want to do
Ask
it.
Deepu, he will remember.
And at that point, you had not offered me the film. She had just mentioned offhand. She had just offhand mentioned that she's very keen to do it.
Sure, I thought it very cool of her, considering she had just racked up all the 600 crores and more. To suddenly say, I'm going to do this completely, a very different, far removed from what she was doing.
That was for the three of us, but of course, once we went to Goa, we all made sure we went a good 3-4 days before. In fact, yeah, we went like a good 3-4 days before the shoot actually started. And those 3 days were just prep for all the actors to, figure out your costumes, figure out, just sit together in a conference room like this, keep reading your scenes, discuss. And so I think a large part of the icebreaking happened like that. But also when you're shooting a film with 5 people in a car, and you're such a small unit, you're kind of making the film on the go, and you're spending so much time between shots. You're spending all that time in the car. So with Arjun in the front and Masisa in the front, and then with Dimple and me and Pankaji in the back, you're kind of just sitting there and waiting for the next shot to be set up, and we would just like talk to each other about other things or make fun of each other or whatever. But we kind of, I think we become friends in that space.
I tell you something with Finding Fanny, I think everyone really connected to the story. It's a very, very simple story. It's a very simple story told in a pretty offbeat, sort of left off center kind of way, which I think appealed to everyone. To immerse ourselves into a world which was a very unfamiliar world, but a very intriguing world when you get into it. Like even when Arjun came from the beginning, he was just at set, wearing his clothes, just being the character, and like you said, it's a Goa that a lot of these guys had not seen before. I had not seen it before till I started writing a screenplay, which was years ago. I stayed in a village called Salvador Mundo, which is again like one of the villages we shot in, and I stayed there for a month in a little hut, a house, like one of house RPO's house in the film. It was like a little place I rented, and I stayed there, wrote the screenplay, spoke to people there. The idea was to try and not be very different in terms of, to embrace the culture and then take it into a slightly more fantastical space. So understand everything, because like for example, even if you go to Goa, you can drive from the north to the south in 2.5 hours. So obviously, geographically, we've fictionalized the Goa we are showing. Even if you take all the wrong roads, you'll still end up covering the whole of Goa.
You could see the film come alive and you could imagine how he's going to shoot. It's a story often told, it's characters often experience. It's a journey that you will feel you can relate to. It is just his storytelling style, his visual narrative is unique. And there is an identity and a point of view that he has which comes out very nicely in Fanny. I think it's a nice amalgamation of the man who's been being Cyrus and Cocktail. I think Fanny is a fair reflection of both those films, while they have a stamp of his. When you read the script also you get a sense of that. You get a sense of how the film is going to look.
No, I
How far will you go to get rid of people? How far would you go?
No.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Have you?
No, I think I've been very introverted like that. I think I've always been shy and reserved, and even in school I've always had my very close group of friends, and I'm in touch with all of them. I don't think I've made that extra effort to keep in touch with, say, the outer group. But all my immediate friends and friends who I knew will be my friends for life are the people I'm in touch with now. Of course, once in a while you'll meet like someone you met a couple of years ago, you bump into them somewhere, and that's always lovely.
Now, how do you go? Like you always have one that got away in life. Everybody has that one person that got away. Not enough people make the effort to. No, everybody has a story to tell. You like some girl, or you wish you would have maybe asked her out, or you wish maybe you had spoken to her. There's a what if with him. You must have met some girl at some party where you thought, I wish I.
He fell in love and he's married to a
No, that I'm sure. But even then there is a what if.
All those opportunities we let slip away.
Yeah, so everybody has.
We didn't wake up all day.
I think this film sort of dwells on that, the what ifs. Sometimes you want to take the next step to find out the answer to those questions that you had.
We did a very interesting thing. What I did was
You made this film, it's very interesting.
I wrote the short story of Finding Fanny. I couldn't make it when I wanted to make it, and I ended up making cocktails at that time. But what happened was, at that, I gave the short story to my co-writer Casey Nogata, who wrote Being Silence. He did the original story of Being Silence. And what I did was, I told him, why don't you write this into a book? He's a really fabulous writer, brilliant writer. So he started writing it into a book, but I told him, you can't give the book in for publishing or try to get a publisher till I make the film. Because I want to make this film for sure. So it wasn't time, but he finished it was just like the whole manuscript. And then when I started writing the screenplay, we actually took from the book. So we did it ulta. And actually started taking from the book chapters to write the scenes. Which is a quite interesting process because the color in the writing and the nuances which you can't really put on a screen, you know. I mean, I can discuss what's going on in Deepika's character's head, but it's difficult to show that on screen, but you can write it in a novel very easily. So then I tried to interpret that and put it into a screenplay format, help the screenplay a lot.
Fanny doesn't have a dark side, he's just a troubled soul. He's just still discovering himself and he blames the world for his problems. It's just, he's like a petulant kid who's refusing to grow up, and he's upset about the hand he's been dealt. We all have issues, but go and deal with them and move ahead. This boy refuses to deal with it. And he finds faults in other people, etc. So that's, you meet people like that. You know? I've been in that state in my life also, but I've also blamed a lot of people for my problems. But then you overcome it. So I found the character interesting in that sense. So I hope I do a happy-go-lucky character also, but that becomes a little one-dimensional. I hope to do character.
You're saying if we were offered a film before this,
Yeah,
we were, and he did those films.
But he's not got some big body of work. It's a process of eliminating each one.
So,
2 out of 3.
you don't have to name them.
I don't know.
Yes, we have.
See, I wouldn't have known about it.
Yes, we have been offered 2 other films together before we were offered.
I'm just hungry and I eat. When I worked out in the morning before taking
Kindly
off
note, I
flight.
was only asking you this question.
Yeah. Thanks. I went to work out in the morning before taking off flight. I like working out. I like going to the gym. I'm a foodie by nature, so I need to work doubly hard. इतने प्यार से तो खिलाएंगे तो ना तो नहीं बोलूँ. Also, for me, it's therapeutic to be alone with the gym for that hour that you can tell you around 60 people all the time. But the gym is good fun by yourself. You can throw your phone away, you can just work out, get your head sorted.
Sorry, because it's been this I just think that people think
much. I like it.
Is fitness. You know, when people talk about actresses, oh, we watch our diet. We actually don't watch our diet. In fact, all my contemporaries, everyone that I know, we eat really, really well. We're all foodies. I'm see me eat. But I think it's about everyone eats. You know, but I think it's about balancing. And most importantly, I think for me, when you go to a gym or workout or yoga or sport, whatever it is, it's about how healthy you are.
Yeah.
And the way it makes you.
For the life that we lead anyways, that 1 hour being away from, for me at least, I like throwing my phone away, I like not being disturbed for that 1 hour, and just being with my own thoughts is just correct. It's like most people wake up and spend an hour with themselves or half an hour. I like to go to the gym. And I really enjoy it. Also, I am a good trainer these days, so I like it even more.
We were talking about how last year he been part of some of the biggest commercial successes he has, I have. Somewhere in the middle of that, we've taken time off, 1 month off, we've gone to Goa, we made a film like Finding Fanny, and we've not even realized when we, in that process, created another film. It was so smooth, it was so seamless, but most importantly, I think we had such a great time. I couldn't even tell the difference between when we were actually shooting and when we were not. It was that seamless. And I think at the end of your career, that's what you want from all your films, you know. Yeah, box office is one thing and the critical acclaim is something else. But at the end of the day, you know, it's these moments that you spend with people on a film set or the moments that you spend together, putting a film together. I think that's what you really cherish and remember. I think in terms of the good times, like I said, I think every moment, every day was fun. You know, we wake up, we travel together, we would eat together, we would come back, we would not go out for dinner together. We had a great time.
What she says, the good and bad lies in that moment. The best part was the journey, and the saddest part is that the journey only lasted so long. I think three of us have been traveling for these 1 or 2 days together. This is a reminder of the 30-35 days that we had together, which flew by very quickly. It was an amazing experience that I think we all will hold on to and remember for the rest of our lives. That's what life is. You experience these moments somewhere in between all the chaos where you can just take a step back, hold on to it. I think it's good to be different from why we want other actors. क्या कर रहे हैं? I mean, yeah, I think it's very important to be able to, again, this is something that we have spoken about, you have to segregate your personal and professional, and everything cannot be intertwined कि मेरा career, मेरा हमने इतनी बातें की हैं दुनिया और जिंदगी के बारे में.
This today, the whole day.
We've only been giving this answer. We just spoke about it. We were just talking about it. Because we are such thespians and legends of this industry. No, but we've actually had some very interesting conversation, and this was one aspect of it. But you have to look beyond your professional life. Your personal equations will last your life, but your profession is a part of your life. It is not your life, and you have to realize that when it comes to equations. Correct?
Brilliant, yeah. Give her an award.
Give him a cupcake.
Give her a cupcake.
I'm sorry, I said this to him
No, but
yesterday.
I agree with it and I feel it. I feel the emotion, bro.
But a lot of times today, I have said what he has told me and he's saying what I have said anyways.
Yeah, it's a very myopic way of looking at it that he's a co-actor and he's a competitor and all. Beyond that, we are friends, we enjoy each other's company, we get along really well. We're in touch regularly. I'm happy when his film do well, he's happy when my film do well. There's enough work for all of us to get around. And the industry has opened up more avenues for us to get along comfortably without this being of number 1, number 2, number 3, what is it? Our race will enjoy. Life is very long, you want to look at it from a wholesome perspective.
We were just sitting around having a couple of drinks and discussing the story.
Coffee, chai, those kind of things. Dude.
And
Funny.
and he said, so I was telling the story and he said that, Charlie, I'm not part of it. I said, what are you going to play on the character? I'm pretty much locked up. So he said, no, I'll play Cabo. And I said, that's a blink and you miss it cameo. And he said that, yeah, so what? Come there, we'll have fun. And he was such a sport. My God, when he came there, he came in his full avatar as this. He's supposed to be this.
He did more references, more research
Than
for
any
that
other
character.
characters. And the best part is when he came on the set, he had what was it? Staying alive, blasting out of his car, and he comes to the set and opens the door. And he comes and does the whole dance. And the whole crew is just watching it. He's not shooting. He just come and done the whole thing. And then he started. Yeah. So we finished him in half a day, and then he stayed on and partied with the rest of us.
Superb.